I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 75. And man, I just can't believe we're already 75 episodes in, and it hasn't even been a year yet. But that's the grind. That's what we do. We just grind it out. And so, literally just started this podcast on my birthday, January 14th. And the whole goal is we just want to keep bringing value to you. So I hope you guys are getting a lot of value. Feel free to continue to share. And if you tag us on Instagram, we'll definitely be happy to provide prizes and things with you. Excited about that, and so continue to boost the community so that we can keep bringing on these episodes. But today we're going to talk about something special concerning being code freedom. If you're going to do anything great, you're going to witness failure. You're going to experience failure. Matter of fact, on a high level, there's no one that I know that has experienced failure and has not succeeded because of that failure. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who fail and they quit and they stop. But there are others who fail and they keep going on, right? And so that's what we want to talk about. It's interesting because, like we all know Michael Jordan's commercial. He says, look, I missed more than 9,000 shots. He said, I've lost 300 games. 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and he missed it. And he's failed over and over and over, but that is why he succeeds, because he was willing to fail so often that he succeeded. Now, no one remembers the failures. We just know about the successes. We know about all the championships and the rings and all the stuff, the endorsements and things that he has. Same thing with people like Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is known as one of the top home run hitters of all time, but he also was the top person to miss of all time, right? That goes hand in hand in any industry and anything that you're doing. So we're going to talk about the 5 levels of failure. And the first level is the ability to fail, because 100% of all of us have the ability to fail. We can fail if we want to. The challenge is 80% of us choose not to. We stay at this level because if failure is right here, we run the other way, right? Because we're like, oh no, I can't be a part of that failure, right? That's just kind of the mindset. But not knowing that it's not like failure is on one side and success is on the other. It's like failure is on this side and success is going in the same direction, right? I'm sorry, success is on one side and failure is going in the same direction. So just know that it's not like opposite ends. It's not opposite ends of the spectrum. It's in the same direction. And so that's level 1. And you don't want to stay at level 1, right? You want to be at level 2. Matter of fact, it's interesting. Even babies are not at level 1, right? Babies are like way past level 1. They're like, I'm going to keep trying, right? I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying, because they don't know any better. That's just like I think it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to want to press forward. The challenge is as we get older, we let life beat us down so much that we just stop trying because we feel like we failed so much. We don't see the fruit of this success at the end of the tunnel, but it's there, right? So let's go to level two. Level two is the willingness to fail. And this is where people accept failure. Now, less than 20% of people will ever get to that place where they say, hey, look, failure is a part of the journey. It ain't going nowhere. So I'm just going to embrace it, right? That's the willingness to fail. But it takes somebody who has some strength and some gall, right, to get to this third level, right? The wantingness to fail, to go from willing to wanting, like, hey, bring it on. I want to fail. Let's go, right? This is what separates the doers from the dreamers. This is what separates those who have a success mindset from those who have a mediocre mindset, right? These are people who actually desire to fail. They're cool with it. Like they're like, come on, let's go. Because this is not only a part of the game, this is how you win the game, right? So these are people who just fundamentally know. Right. So this is kind of like where you want to be. But then it gets even better because when you get to level 4, it's like, look, let's fail bigger and let's fail faster. Like, how quick can we, honestly, I'll just keep it real with you guys. That's one of the things that I'm even doing, even with this podcast. It's like, fail bigger, fail faster. Like, I guess my mindset wasn't, I know a lot of podcasters, they do an episode once a week. And hey, I'm not knocking that at all. Like, I'm thankful that I have the time and the resources and things like that to be able to bring this value to you, right? But most people, they again, they kind of shrink when it comes to failure, right? But we want to just go hard, go big, go fast, and fail bigger, fail faster, right? So that's the key. That's where you get to a place where you don't even think about failure. Like, you just go for it. And I find myself doing this so much more now. Like, for instance, if someone says, hey, we want somebody to do this, I'm like, I'll do it. My hand is raised because I'm like, I'd rather say yes and figure it out, right? Now, don't get me wrong, you do have to learn how to be able to say no. And I've learned how to do that. But what I mean is, if it's something that I feel like is going to challenge me, if it's something that, even though it may be uncomfortable, I'll still do it anyway and figure it out along the way, because I'd rather be that person than to be the one that shrinks and just runs away from failure and say, look, I'm not even trying, right? And so that's level 4. And then level 5. Level 5 is where you really want to be. This is where you go from uh, failing bigger and failing faster to now you fail exponentially, right? So it's like this: if individual failure equals individual success, then why not add some leverage to it and have group failure, which will equal group success? So instead of this me failing by myself, hey, let me get a bunch of people who are willing to fail with me bigger and faster, and we can all make some big things happen. And of course, you as that CEO, as that leader, you now have just gained a serious amount of leverage, right? And we've talked about that on several episodes. So this is powerful. This is powerful. This is where the top CEOs are in the world. This is where the top business builders and business developers and people who are living a life of freedom, this is where they sit because they embrace these levels. But 3, 4, and 5 is where it's at, guys. You get to the wantingness, then you get to the failing bigger and faster, and then you start failing exponentially. And that's where I'm at. As far as my business and my organization is, I'm just looking for people who want to fail big with me, right? Because we know that there's a reward on the other end of that failure. We know that the failure is not the end all be all. My mentor says the only way you can fail is to quit, but it is impossible to stop a man or woman who will not quit, right? So as long as you keep going, you can't really fail. You just fail forward. You just get bigger and better and stronger, and you learn what not to do, right? So these are the 5 levels of failure. And I would love to know, like, which level are you going to be at? Which level do you think you are now? And which level are you shooting or striving to get to, right? Because it's not easy and it's not overnight, but when you get to that place, it's so gratifying because you almost don't even care what people think about you anymore. And that honestly, that's why most people 80% stay at level one, because they're worried about how they're going to be perceived. They're worried about how people will view them. But the goal is to be at a place where you don't care, right? Because again, you fundamentally know that failure is a big part of the success. And I can go down so many different people that that have failed big, from Steve Jobs to Mark Zuckerberg. And it's time for us to fail big and really fail on a whole nother level. So listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for all your support as you continue to listen and share this podcast. Don't forget to rate us as well. And we can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.